My name's Rick Dale. I restore things. I can restore anything you can possibly imagine. We rip things apart and bring them back to their natural state.
The shocking reason American Restoration ended is something many fans still cannot fully understand. This show was once very popular, showing amazing restoration work and skilled craftsmanship that kept viewers watching every episode. But behind the scenes, things were not as perfect as they looked on screen. There were hidden problems, changes in direction, and growing tension that slowly affected the show's future. What really caused everything to fall apart so suddenly? Why did a successful show come to an unexpected end? Join us as we break it all down. Rise from skilled craftsman to reality TV star. Before American Restoration became one of the biggest restoration shows on television, Rick Dale was simply a talented craftsman running a small restoration shop in Las Vegas. His path to television fame started in an unexpected way through another successful History Channel series, Pawn Stars. In 2009, Pawn Stars premiered and quickly created a huge interest in vintage and antique items across America. The show followed Rick Harrison and his family as they operated their famous pawn shop in Las Vegas. Whenever the shop needed help with antique restorations or expert advice, they often called Rick Dale. His first appearance came in the episode titled Time Machines, and viewers immediately became interested in more than just the antiques themselves. People wanted to see how damaged and worn out items could be restored back to life. History Channel executives quickly realized they had discovered something special. Rick Dale had a rare talent for turning broken and forgotten relics into beautiful, museum-quality pieces. Even more important, he brought a level of authenticity that reality television often struggled to find. Rick was not someone trying to become famous. He was a real craftsman who had been restoring items since childhood. His passion for restoration began when he was only 9 years old. His father once pulled an old bicycle from a neighborhood dumpster and challenged young Rick to repair it. That simple moment sparked a lifelong love for bringing old objects back to life. American Restoration officially premiered on October 25, 2010, and quickly became a cultural success. The series followed the daily activities inside Rick's restorations. The show featured Rick alongside his wife, Kelly Dale, who managed business operations, and his son, Tyler Dale. His brother, Ron Dale, worked as a picker, while crew members such as Brett Lee, Rick's stepson, and Cowboy, the metal polishing expert, also became familiar faces on the show. What truly made the series stand out was not only the restoration work, but also the family atmosphere inside the shop. Rick's relationship with Tyler became one of the main storylines, as Rick hoped his son would eventually take over the business. The conversations and humor between the workers felt natural and genuine, while the challenges involved in restoring decades-old items appeared real and believable. At its height, the show attracted an average of 2.9 million viewers every week and aired in more than 87 countries. Famous clients soon began bringing their treasured items to Rick's restorations. These included Billy Joel, Sammy Hagar, Jason Mraz, illusionist Lance Burton and David Copperfield, and NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. One episode, titled Pick, Pawn, and Polish, reached 6.5 million viewers, becoming the highest-rated program in History Channel history at that time. Rick Dale had officially become a household name and one of the most recognized faces in vintage restoration. The show featured many different restoration projects, including a 1946 Harley-Davidson motorcycle, vintage Coca-Cola machines, antique gas pumps, jukeboxes, barber chairs, and even a NASA helmet. According to Rick, the shop usually handled between 6 and 12 projects at the same time, balancing customer deadlines, finding rare parts, and solving difficult technical problems while restoring machinery that was often more than 70 years old. Crossovers with other History Channel programs also became common. Rick frequently worked with the crews from Counting Cars and American Pickers. Together, these shows created a connected world focused on vintage American culture, with Rick Dale standing at the center of it all. How reality TV changed Rick Dale's restoration empire. The producers had already started creating the problems that would later damage everything Rick Dale had worked so hard to build. What began as a real look inside his restoration business slowly changed into something very different. American Restoration was first loved because viewers believed they were watching genuine craftsmanship and real restoration work. Over time, however, the show became more focused on scripted entertainment instead of authenticity. The series was produced by Left Field Pictures, the same company behind Pawn Stars. According to industry insiders, the production team used many of the same reality television methods on Rick's show. Customer conversations were often scripted, and restoration timelines were changed to appear more dramatic or urgent than they really were. Some viewers noticed that customers seemed to be filmed more than once, first while discussing an item and later during the reveal of the finished restoration. This made many fans believe producers were heavily controlling what audiences saw on screen. As the seasons continued, the staged drama became even more noticeable. Earlier episodes focused mainly on the detailed process of restoring old items. Fans enjoyed watching Rick and his crew carefully bring damaged pieces back to life. Later seasons shifted away from craftsmanship and focused more on arguments, family tension, and forced situations created for television. Many viewers complained online that the show no longer felt genuine. Instead of watching skilled restoration work, they were watching unnecessary conflicts between cast members. One moment especially upset longtime fans. Rick's brother Ron appeared on Pawn Stars selling a Coca-Cola machine while pretending not to know Rick personally. He convinced the Pawn Stars team to send the machine to Rick's restorations for repair. However, viewers already knew Ron worked at Rick's shop. The entire situation appeared staged as a cross-promotion between the two shows, and many fans felt it destroyed any remaining sense of authenticity. Another controversial example involved the restoration of a golf ball slot machine. The original machine brought into the shop was too badly damaged to repair properly. Rick later found and purchased another identical machine from a company called LA Slots in California. That replacement machine was shipped to Las Vegas and used instead. However, the show presented the finished restoration as if it were the original item, leading viewers to believe they were seeing something that had never actually happened. People familiar with the production later explained how much control the producers had over Rick's business. Rick was no longer allowed to handle restorations for his regular customers in the normal way. Producers selected the customers who appeared on television, arranged the restoration prices, and paid for the projects themselves. Although Rick and his crew earned good money from each episode, the restorations shown on television were no longer being managed naturally through his business. This created a major change in Rick's role. Instead of fully running his own shop, he was increasingly following instructions from television producers. Tight deadlines added even more pressure. Episodes often showed restorations being completed within extremely short periods of time. Professional restorers pointed out that proper restoration work cannot be rushed without lowering quality, but producers wanted fast-paced drama to keep audiences interested. New characters were also introduced mainly to create conflict. One viewer mentioned the arrival of a character named Leonard, calling it a terrible decision that made them stop watching the show completely. Many fans felt the series had stopped being about restoration and had turned into a program built around fake drama and arguments. By seasons 5 and 6, viewer frustration had become widespread online. Fans complained that the show spent too much time focusing on personal issues instead of restoration projects. Professional restorers were even more critical, accusing the show of damaging antiques, using incorrect colors and fonts, and ignoring historical accuracy. Rick Dale had spent more than 30 years building his reputation and developing real restoration skills. Now, television producers seemed more interested in ratings than craftsmanship. The passion that once made the show special was slowly disappearing, and Rick eventually faced a decision that would change everything. Bold exit from American Restoration. After 6 seasons filled with growing producer control, forced drama, and constant changes to the show's original purpose, Rick Dale finally reached his breaking point. When the History Channel approached him about returning for season 7, he refused to renew his contract. By making that decision, Rick walked away from millions of dollars and completely changed the future of the series. People close to the production revealed that Rick was deeply unhappy with the direction of the show. He no longer felt like a real craftsman being respected for his skills. Instead, he felt he was being treated like an actor in a scripted television drama. The restoration work that once made the show special had slowly been replaced with manufactured conflicts and exaggerated moments designed only for entertainment. Rick also wanted control of his business again. He wanted to focus on helping real customers instead of working with people chosen mainly for television value. The situation became too frustrating, and he no longer wanted to continue under those conditions. What made the situation even more emotional was the video Rick later shared online. In the video, he thanked fans for supporting him throughout the years and encouraged them to express their disappointment on the American Restoration website. The video showed how deeply the situation affected him. It was clear that he truly loved restoration work, but could no longer continue working under the network's terms. The History Channel reacted quickly. Instead of trying to negotiate or solve Rick's concerns, the network decided to move forward without him. Season 7 was completely rebooted with a very different format that changed the identity of the show. Rick's departure also affected the entire team that viewers had grown to love over the years. Many fan favorites from the shop were removed along with him. Soon, rumors spread everywhere about what really caused the split. Some people claimed Rick had become difficult to work with, while others blamed declining ratings. There were even stories suggesting problems between Rick and clients, although no proof ever supported those claims. Despite all the rumors, many longtime viewers believed the real problem was much simpler. The show had drifted too far away from what originally made it successful. Fans were not watching American Restoration for fake arguments or dramatic reality television moments. They were watching because they admired Rick Dale's incredible craftsmanship and the fascinating process of bringing forgotten pieces of history back to life. Every restored gas pump, vintage sign, jukebox, and antique machine carried a story, and Rick had a unique ability to make those stories feel important again. When the network shifted its focus toward manufactured entertainment, many loyal fans immediately noticed the difference. The backlash after Rick's departure was massive. Social media quickly filled with angry reactions from disappointed viewers who felt the History Channel had ruined one of its most authentic programs. Many people refused to continue watching after Season 7 premiered with its completely new cast and format. Ratings reportedly struggled as audiences compared the rebooted version to the original series that Rick had built from the ground up. For many fans, American Restoration without Rick Dale simply did not feel like American Restoration anymore. Even after leaving television, Rick continued earning respect from restoration enthusiasts across the country. Supporters admired the fact that he chose integrity and passion over money and fame. Instead of staying trapped in a television environment that no longer reflected his values, Rick decided to protect the craft he loved most. Years later, many viewers still consider the original seasons of American Restoration to be the true heart of the series, largely because of Rick's dedication, personality, and genuine love for restoring history. How Season 7 changed. American Restoration forever. On January 1st, 2016, American Restoration returned for Season 7 with a completely different format. Instead of following one restoration shop, one family, and one clear story, the show introduced 5 separate restoration businesses from different parts of the country. The new version featured Bodie Stroud, Dale Wachsler, Andy Bowman Jr., Steve Hale, and Bob Halliday, each running their own restoration shop. Fans were immediately surprised by the dramatic change. Many viewers felt confused and disappointed because the series they had followed for 6 seasons no longer felt like the same show. The reaction was fast and overwhelmingly negative. People believed the heart of the program had been removed and replaced with something completely different. One of the biggest complaints was the new focus on vehicles. Earlier seasons had become popular because of the wide variety of items being restored. Viewers enjoyed watching old soda machines, slot machines, motorcycles, gas pumps, and many other pieces of vintage Americana brought back to life. That variety helped the show stand out from other restoration programs on television. In Season 7, the attention shifted mostly toward cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Many fans felt this made the show repetitive and less exciting, especially since History Channel already had Counting Cars covering automotive restoration. Another major problem was the lack of chemistry between the new cast members. Over 6 seasons, viewers had developed a strong connection with Rick Dale and his family. Audiences had watched Tyler Dale grow up on screen, enjoyed Ron's relaxed personality, appreciated Cowboy's strict perfectionism, and followed Brett Lee's memorable moments. The original cast felt natural and genuine, and viewers believed they were watching a real family business. The new shops did not have that same feeling. There was no shared history, no strong emotional connection, and no family atmosphere that made the earlier seasons enjoyable. The structure of the reboot also hurt the show. The series constantly jumped from one shop to another, making it difficult for viewers to stay connected to any single project or cast member. Just as audiences started understanding one business and its workers, the episode would suddenly move to another location with completely different people and projects. This removed the sense of continuity that had helped earlier seasons succeed. The educational side of the series also disappeared. Earlier episodes carefully explained restoration techniques, showed detailed problem solving, and taught viewers about vintage items and craftsmanship. The reboot focused more on showing quick before and after results with very little explanation of how the restorations were completed. Even viewers who tried to support the new format quickly lost interest. Many discussions online showed people giving up after only 1 or 2 episodes. Ratings also dropped sharply. Without Rick Dale and his family, the show became just another restoration program in a crowded television market. The quiet end of American Restoration. By April 1st, 2016, only 3 months after the Season 7 premiere, American Restoration was officially canceled. A show that had once been one of the biggest programs on the History Channel suddenly came to an end. The series had built a huge international audience, attracted celebrity appearances, and turned Rick Dale into a well-known television personality. After years of success, it was over. Many people connected to the production believed the downfall happened because the network tried to change the formula that made the show popular in the first place. The original charm of American Restoration came from Rick Dale's skills, his passion for restoration work, and the family atmosphere inside the shop. Over time, creative disagreements between Rick and the network became impossible to ignore. People close to the production described the situation as a destructive battle where neither side wanted to give up control. Rick Dale wanted to protect the integrity of his work and stay true to the original spirit of the series. The History Channel, on the other hand, continued pushing for more creative control. In the end, both sides lost something valuable. The show disappeared, the business changed forever, and millions of loyal viewers were left disappointed. After the cancellation, Rick chose not to continue operating the business in the same way. Television exposure had transformed the shop so much that returning to normal restoration work no longer seemed possible. Instead of trying to recreate the past, Rick moved in a completely different direction. He opened a laser cutting and embroidery business in Las Vegas called My Best Font Forward Creations. The company is mainly operated by his wife, Kelly. The business focuses on products such as Christmas decorations, laser cut designs, and custom embroidery work. It is very different from the large restoration projects that once made Rick famous on television. Rick also explored another creative path by becoming an author. He wrote a book titled Classic Soda Machines. The book currently holds a strong rating on Amazon and reflects Rick's continued love for vintage collectibles and classic Americana. These days, Rick appears to enjoy a much quieter lifestyle. He still consults on vintage items from time to time and occasionally works as a metal artist. But the projects are much smaller compared to the full restorations viewers once watched on television. His public presence has also changed significantly over the years. Rick was once active on platforms like Twitter and YouTube, where fans regularly followed his work and restoration projects. However, he has not posted on either platform in years. He still maintains a fairly active Instagram account where he shares occasional fabrication work and small creative projects. Even so, the scale and frequency of the work are nothing like the busy days of American restoration. Kelly Dale has also successfully moved into a different chapter of her career. She became a licensed realtor and occasionally hosts car shows and public appearances. She has managed to use the recognition gained from the television series to create opportunities in an entirely different industry. Her transition shows how the family adapted after the end of the show. Tyler Dale, Rick's son, also followed his own path after the series ended. During the show, Tyler was often seen as the future of the family restoration business. Over time, he continued developing his woodworking, welding, and metal fabrication skills. In 2022, he married an interior designer named Haley, and the couple appears to live together in Las Vegas. Tyler's social media pages show that he still works as a fabricator, but there is very little connected to restoration work or the family business that once shaped his identity. His career now seems focused more on fabrication and craftsmanship rather than restoring vintage pieces for television audiences. Among the former cast members, Brett Lee Otterman may have experienced the greatest success after the show ended. Rick's stepson built on the sandblasting and soda blasting skills he developed during the series and started his own company called CleanWorks Mobile Media Blasting. The business appears to be doing very well. It now operates 3 blasting rigs and has successfully grown into an independent company. Brett Lee lives in Las Vegas with his wife, Steph, and their 3 children. Unlike the original restoration business, his company managed to turn television exposure into long-term success. Rick's brother, Ron Dale, chose a quieter lifestyle after the show ended. He spends his time building custom bicycles and stays mostly away from the public spotlight. Cowboy, the well-known metal polisher from the series, also disappeared from public attention following the cancellation. Over the years, there have been many rumors about Rick's restorations returning. At one point, Rick posted videos of himself restoring an antique sign while teasing fans about a possible comeback. He also launched a website called learnfromrickdale.com, where he offered training programs, member access, live question and answer sessions, and weekly videos. Even with those efforts, the original restoration shop remains closed. The famous location where old pieces of history were brought back to life for 6 successful seasons has never fully reopened. What do you think about Rick's restorations? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before you go, be sure to click on the video shown on your screen.